What up? All right, so I feel like I kind of just got this word, and I'm trying to be better about capturing this stuff. I guess when it hits me, and was in a position this morning where I could do that. So, um, first things first, I finally got the living room set up. Had like the housewarming party in the new space. Got the fireplace rolling, and yeah, got it set up. So, was really glad. Had the housewarming party 2 weekends ago. So it's kind of chaotic getting everything set up, but I'm really glad that we had that push because it's like it really feels like home now. Got some paint samples there and in the room that'll be the study. So excited to kind of keep seeing it come together. But yeah, I was just sitting here this morning. It's Saturday and the after Thanksgiving, and the plan today was just to, at least for the majority of the day, to position myself to be able to like think and create, and wasn't really sure what that looked like or would look like in terms of like, am I going to record, am I going to write, am I going to kind of plan stuff out, because the last week and a half or so has been, I took a pretty intense like heavy retreat end of last week into that weekend, and it was really good. And it's always also good coming out of those times. A lot of thought, some fasting, some praying, um, because I'm at a point where I want to make sure that I'm at least positioning myself to be doing what I feel like I need to be doing to keep trying to grow this music thing, and with the business as well. But the majority of that retreat was focused on music stuff and creative stuff. So, and I feel like I've gotten some good clarity, good revelation coming out of that. So, yeah, and I'll share some of those things in other videos coming up. But yeah, this morning I kind of started with sitting down. I always like to start with some prayer, just to kind of try to position myself to be able to be the most focused, the most creative, and have decided like I don't. This is not about me. I don't want it to be about me. I don't want to do it for me. And if that's the case, and like I want to do it the way that the Lord wants me to do it. One of the things that I've prayed for specifically in regards to the music stuff and building a career and working towards that over the last year or so has probably been when I've prayed this the most specifically. And let me preface this by saying I don't mean for this to sound arrogant, and I'll explain and get some context in a second, but that prayer is that if this music thing is supposed to work out in whatever capacity it's supposed to work out, that I would be able to do it in a way that's different than anybody who's ever done it. And I don't mean to like paint myself as a unicorn in that regard. It's more of like a stewardship thing in my mind, where like I don't know of, I'm not going to say I don't know of anybody, but they are extremely rare and hard to come by, of people who have what the general public would consider, I guess, as a successful music career, like doing the stuff that are what I would argue is like completely genuine and kind of pure in the way that they go about how they do what they do. It doesn't mean that they're bad people. It's just, it seems to be that in order to attain success in music, you have to compromise either some part of the musical integrity or just general ethics, or even just being genuine with people. Like if telling somebody that you are a fan of what they do if you're actually not, in order to kind of like get in good with folks. And I think like I'm a pretty big believer, very big believer in like how you do one thing is how you do everything. And it's like if you start to kind of bend the rules a little bit personally on those things, it's like, well, I feel like that creeps into like just at large how you interact with the people who support what you're doing, um, and how much you value the intentionality and the integrity of like those relationships. And like I said, I don't want that specific like tagline of like wanting to be different than anybody who's ever done it to sound arrogant. But I do think like one of the things that's really important to me is that for however big this thing gets, if it ends up being successful, is like I want it to feel like a family. And part of being a family, at least a healthy one, I think, is being able to be vulnerable and open and honest with the people in that family, and to be able to kind of fully, authentically be yourself. So, like I said, I don't intend or want anything that I say to sound cocky or arrogant. I think that you have to really lean into figuring out at certain points in your life, like what's a calling, what's a gift versus like what's something that I just actually really like to do or enjoy doing. Because I think that if you don't really believe that it's a calling, then kind of the mundane, ordinary responsibilities of the world can kind of just like creep up and choke out the things that actually give you life. And I think that there are spiritual implications to that, which we can talk about in another video. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that as of right now. What I feel like was laid on my heart this morning was this phrase, with that in mind, of kind of going back to square one, of like being humble enough to re-engineer what you're doing. I think a lot of people can give up on dreams because they'll reach a certain point to where it's like, well, I've done the stuff that you're supposed to do and it hasn't worked. Like there's been this kind of linear trajectory. Say, for example, with music, it's like, all right, well, I moved to Nashville. I started making connections and playing shows, and I got killer musicians and friends to play with me, and I toured. And my recordings, like, it started out very indie DIY, and then it moved to like kind of leveling up in terms of sonic quality and the type of studios I was recording in and the money that I was spending. And I got, some big opening slots and like all like these metrics of like, well, I've done the things that they say you're supposed to do. And I think for me personally, and I think when other people do that and it doesn't give them what they think it's going to give them, it's like, well, I've done those things and it didn't work out. So like, I'm not going to, like, the next step would be to like, go spend 50 grand to go make an album. And like, I don't have that kind of money, and be like, well, I've done this, so I need to take it to the next level. And it's like, I think what I need to be doing is re-engineering it and going all the way back to square one, because what's most important is like I need to be able to find my spark again. I need to be able to go back to like feeling the same excitement and curiosity, hopefully, and hopefully even more than I did when I was 16, 17, like these certain times in my life where it just absolutely grabbed me like music did and helped me kind of figure out myself, and where I would just go down these rabbit holes of like just kind of being obsessed with certain artists or songs or bands or whatever. So I want to get that back. Anyway, that feels like a re-engineering. Hopefully there's some humility there on my end to kind of return to going back to doing that. So anyway, hopefully that makes some kind of sense and is helpful. But whatever it is that you're after, just keep trying to figure it out. It makes the world a better place, I think. At least I am telling myself that. So, and I think it makes you and me better for it. So anyway, love y'all and talk to you soon. Bye.